Hey, what's up, guys? So I didn't get a question, but I got a comment on one of my Facebook posts, and I shared a part of my story, and they had responded back to my post, and they said, "Thank you for everything that you do. I want to share my story too, but I'm just not ready yet. Who knows when I will be?" And I basically went back and forth with this person in DMs, and what became very apparent, which is really why I'm doing this video now, is that a lot of survivors, the majority of survivors want to share their story. Many of them have. Yes, great. Awesome. Many haven't. And out of that many that haven't, there are legitimate reasons as to why they believe they haven't done that yet. Sometimes it's because of family opinions. Sometimes it's because of the abuser still alive and they are fearful over their own safety. That, there's reasons like that. And there's also a group of survivors that haven't shared their story yet just because they don't feel ready to. And don't get me wrong, that don't feel ready to could be a whole combination of the reasons that I just mentioned before. But they haven't really articulated them. They haven't really sort of sat there to think too much as to why. All they know is that they're just not ready to do it. They think about it like, fuck no, I'm not ready to do that. Maybe soon, maybe later. And all that I want to say today is that, we have a dialogue that constantly goes on inside of here. And I think that we just need to just always in life work on making that dialogue serve us more and more and more. Don't get me wrong, we're human beings. Sometimes that dialogue gets the best of us, or sometimes we've been letting it slip recently and that dialogue has gone back to old patterns and it's just not serving us. It's saying that we look like shit. It's saying us that, oh, who cares? I don't want to do it. I'm not going to go to the gym. Who cares? Who fucking cares? I'm a failure. Who wants to hear the story? Those type of things. And here's the thing. We do have full control over what that voice says inside of our head, or at least we have full control over whether we want to actually listen to it or not. I do believe that a lot of times we can change what it says, but I do also believe that sometimes it just has this own thing and it just goes off on its own tangent. And sometimes we just need to say, hey, you, fuck off. You're not serving me. I'm not listening to you. Just be aware. There's a book. This book here called The Untethered Soul. It's a fantastic book. And there's many, many teaching points in it. I might actually read this again. It's so good. There's many teaching points in this. But the whole, one of the main things is about how we tend to go through life thinking that we are our thoughts, but once we become aware that we are not our thoughts, we can actually sit back and observe the thoughts going, like we acknowledge them, let them go, allow them to drift away. That's when we kind of in our power position. And, I said earlier, I think that we can 100% control our thoughts. I do and I don't agree with that. Well, I'm going back on what I'm saying in a way. I do think we have more control than what we believe over the conversation and narrative that happens inside of here. And that goes a long way. But I do think that sometimes because we're human beings and we have those tendencies, that it just gets out of hand, that voice. And this is where things like this come in handy to observe them and know that they're not us. We're not our thoughts, But going back to the whole fear thing and sharing our story, that whenever someone says I'm not ready, it's because of those loops that are going on inside of their heads. And it does come back to this point of my very good friend and old business partner, Matthew Burbridge. He said this on a podcast once. Actually, no, I think he said it on a live coaching call that we had with our clients back then. He was like, stop getting ready. Stop getting ready to be ready. Just be ready. Right? Because here's the thing. It's like when it comes to this vulnerable shit, there's not really going to be a right time where you're like, you know what, I'm ready to share my story now. Like, oh, I'm so ready. Sometimes it can get to that point, but I consider those anomalies. I think for the vast majority of people who've been saying I'm not ready for God knows how long, it does get to a point where it's like, hold up a second, listen, okay? Those words that are floating around in your head right now, that shit right there is not serving you, because not only is it causing you limitations around your truth and your authenticity, but I can guarantee you, because how you do one thing is how you do everything, that same negative pattern that's going on inside your head around getting the story out, is also limiting you in other areas of your life. Maybe it's going out to get that job, maybe it's asking the partner out, maybe it's wearing certain items of clothing, whatever it is, it's telling you that you shouldn't do that as well. Or maybe you could do that, but when you're ready, I'll start when I'm ready. At the end of the day, it's bullshit. It's fear to try and keep you safe. We don't grow in safety. We grow when we're outside our comfort zone. All right? So what I do want to say to you guys watching this is that if you haven't shared your story yet because you don't feel like you're ready to, I want you to really challenge that. I'm not going to tell you right now that you are ready. I'm not doing that. But I just want to express my thoughts and get you to challenge that belief that you have right now and try to change it to, okay, or ask the right questions and be like, right, why do I not think that I'm ready? What could happen if I do share my story? What could happen if I don't share my story? And to be honest, if you say, well, nothing's going to happen, I'm going to continue the way that I am now, what you may find is that that's actually the worst answer that you could give. I mean, it's the right answer, but it's the worst outcome. Because we don't want to carry on living the way that we are, most of the time. If we're not happy with the life that we're living, we don't want to carry on living like that. We want to achieve more. We want to change shit, right? We want to be different. We want to do different. We want to show up differently. Well, it starts with the conversations that are happening inside of our heads because they're not serving us. They're telling us, hey, you shouldn't share your story. Why? I don't know. Just don't do it. You're not ready. Yeah. But if you probe it with more questions, then it's like, well, why don't I want to share my story? Because, well, what's your parents going to say? What is your partner going to say? They're going to understand. They haven't been abused. They won't get you. They won't even know how to deal with you. They're going to think you're a weirdo. They're going to think you're a freak. Is that true? Well, maybe. Well, who said that? Why? Because what if they don't? But again, it comes back to the point of you can't rely on anybody's opinions. You can't rely on anybody's reactions because that's outside your control. So you sharing your story, again, there's going to be fear. Yeah, of course there's going to be fear. But you have to make the purpose behind why you want to share it far greater than the fear. When you got a lot of purpose, it trumps the fear. The fear won't go away when you got the purpose, but the purpose makes the fear manageable. It's like, oh, I am, with my story, like, yeah. It will go from this. It will go, if we've just got fear, it will go from, I want to share my story, but I'm going to get some comments on social media. I know I will. What's my auntie going to think? What's my partner going to think? I don't know. Like that shit is too raw. It's too vulnerable. I just can't deal with anything. Can't deal with it. Then with purpose, it goes to this. The fears are still there. I know I'm going to get comments on social media. I know people are just going to say some hateful things on Facebook. But I hope they don't. But however, at the same time, I know that there's someone out there who is currently going through abuse that doesn't believe they have the willpower to walk out. And if they see my story, that could actually give them the permission that they need and the courage that they need to walk out that door. Wow. If my one post did that for somebody, that would fucking just make it all worthwhile. Now, all of a sudden, that potential doesn't even mean that it's going to happen, but the fact that you believe it could happen trumps the shitty little comments that you may get on social media, you know? And it's like, okay, well, what's my aunt going to say? You know, uh, yes, she might have something to say, but you know what? At the end of the day, I know that my story is going to help so many people that need to hear it. And I'm just sick and tired of people living in silence because I know what it feels like. And I really feel like I've been put on this planet to do that. I've been put on this planet to be part of something greater than what my aunt might think. Like, come on. Boom. See? The purpose pushes you past the fear where you're like, yeah, cool, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? So that's all I wanted to come on and say is that if you've got fear, cool. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It doesn't mean that you need to be ready, because a lot of the time you won't ever get to a point where you feel like you're ready. Sometimes you just have to put one foot forward anyway without being ready. And then you're just going to learn to get ready in the process. It's like if you can't swim, I mean, not practically, but the metaphor's kind of there, I think. If you jump into the deep end and you don't know how to swim, well, you've got fucking two choices. You're either going to drown, you're going to learn to swim whilst you're fucking trying to tread water. You know, you get what I'm trying to say. I mean, me, I can swim. I can swim, you know, but I can't tread. If you put me into the deep end and, you know, oh, fuck me. What? Going back to my metaphor, I'm going to learn how to tread water because I don't want to drown. But, you know, sometimes you just got to push past the fear and just be like, you know what, fear, you're not controlling me anymore. I'm going to do this anyway. You know, so I wouldn't let not being ready stop you from doing what you need to do, because you've lived the last 10, 20, 30 years with that fear controlling you. Maybe not necessarily exactly with this, but in all areas of life. And it's time that we let fear, you know, give it a gentle nudge to one side, or we can fly kick it and tell it to fuck off, because it's time that we start living in a way that's abundant, that is, you know, just powerful without the fear controlling us, because we're done being controlled. All right, we're warriors. We're done being controlled. All right, I hope that helps. If you've got a story and you haven't shared it yet, as long as you've broken the silence to yourself as many ways as possible, which I've talked about in one of these videos here on YouTube, then you're cool. Like you've ticked those boxes, and it's time to now share your story with the world. Do it. Fuck the fear. Fuck what your family might think. It's not about them. Fuck them. All right? It's not about your friends. Fuck your friends. It's about you. That's it. Most important thing. It's about you first. And then second, it's about those who need to hear it. Not those who couldn't care. You ain't got no time for them. Okay? Fuck fear. Let's go. Put it in the comments. Fuck fear. Let's do it.